Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is quite bizarre because the person who is prosecuting Keir Starmer's alleged firebombers is also at the same time a judge, and a judge who has had some very, very peculiar sentences handed out over the last short term. Now, this in itself is quite a bizarre situation because I've already asked someone in the legal profession, is this possible? Should someone be able to be a prosecutor and a sitting judge at the same time? Obviously, not the same court at the same cases, but should someone have these jobs? And they said, no, this is most peculiar. The only way he's seen it happening would be if someone was asked to step up as a judge on a very temporary basis. Well, this judge, Judge Sarah Przybylska, sorry, pronouncing this name, I think it's Polish, Przybylska. He was made up to a judge over 3 years ago. So I doubt that the defence that she is a temporary judge could be acceptable here. Now, there's a recent case, right, where she's done the maddest thing. She's the non-custodial sentence given to a guy who's obviously here illegally because she talks about deportation is rather eyebrow raising. And I'll come back to that later on in the video because it's absolutely bonkers. But she also, I'm just going to go through some of the cases that she's dealt with. So the first thing I do is I would normally just Google somebody and then see where it leads us. And one of the cases that she's been involved in, you see here, was an Essex drug dealer who avoided the jail. Now, there we go. Binman turned dealer who kept his machete at his address has been told he's lucky to be avoiding immediate prison term. Bradley Worrell, 24, played a major role in transporting drugs from London to Braintree as part of what was known as the Polo drug line, which flooded Essex with heroin and crack cocaine. And it says here that basically the guy got involved with drugs, then he went away from it, got a new girlfriend, needed some money, and got back involved and was caught. But it was absolutely mental. And there's the judge there, Sarah Przybylska. I do apologise for the name pronunciation, and anybody who's got the same surname, apologise to you as well. But gave him a suspended sentence, but told him, quite bizarrely, that he'd be jailed if he breached his suspended sentence. We don't need to explain that. That's kind of how the law works. And the strange thing was about this. Something about who had a baby due. That was one of the things. And she said, summing up, the police linked you to a drug line called Polo in Essex and South London. The police found phones, cocaine, and a machete at your address. No custodial sentence. Now, forgive me for being wrong. Now, this was, I'll just get the date up the top here, March this year. Now, before the Rudy Cabana incident, the people in the United Kingdom are quite concerned about the level of knife crime. And a machete is actually like banned, right? If we don't give, just for that alone, if we don't give people custodial sentences for owning machetes, we will never get rid of the rising and really bizarre amount of big knife crime we have and usage and carrying on our streets. The knife crime is one of the most feared things in the public. I know because I travel the length of the United Kingdom talking to people about their concerns. So that alone, forgetting the fact, there was a drug dealer as well, and he had like drugs on him and like a couple of phones and stuff. So, no sense, right? So that was the first one. The other one, here's another one. Colchester Middlesbrough. Why was Colchester Middlesbrough attacker's sentence suspended? I'll actually come back to that one. That's the last one I want to deal with. Colchester drug dealer, that's another drug dealer, said £50,000, this was in October last year, was his inheritance. A drug dealing father who stashed cannabis, cocaine, and 50 grand worth of cash in his loft has avoided a jail sentence after the court case took 2 years to come before the judge. Now, in this summing up here, where is it? It's quite bizarre. He had 58 grams of cocaine and cannabis worth 10 to 12 grand at the time when he was caught. Maybe didn't have a machete right enough this one, but it's 50 grand of cash, right? And she said, where is it? Quite bizarre in this one, that it was one of the things for the sentence was because it took so long for the thing to get to court. I'm kind of sorry, but that shouldn't matter. So because there was a delay in the court case, she's took the view that that's all right. So we'll not give him a custodial sentence. It's just bonkers that this is a case. Here we go. Judge Sarah gave Matthews a 2-year sentence, suspended for 18 months, saying the fact the case took 21 months for him to be charged was a mitigating factor. Well, a mitigating factor in breaking the law. Bonkers, right? Absolutely bonkers. But the weirdest thing is, and here's the current case, and this is just from June, right? There's a few mentions about her in Google because these guys went to court and she's named as a prosecutor. And this is mental because if you look at the dates, right? So let me just see here. Where are we about her name? She is obviously doing the two things at the same time. Just want to get reference to her name in here. There we go. Last month, right? Prosecutor Sarah told the court that the defendant's alleged offending was unexplained, right? So that was June, and it says last month. So in May, she was defending this guy, right? But here we are, August, prosecuting. Sorry, the judge, right? So she's prosecuting in May and June. August, talking about stuff that she was a judge on. And before that, we have the March judge. Judge, judgment, prosecuting. How is this possible? Now, the worst one, as I say, I kept this to the end, is this one, where a judge said an attacker who stabbed his victim several times will be better rehabilitated in the community than he would have been in prison. Sarah gave Amir Jabbar a 2-year suspended jail sentence after he was convicted of causing grievous bodily harm without intent. He was ordered to carry out 30 rehabilitation days, 150 hours of community service, and £187 victim surcharge. Miss Przybylska said she was satisfied Jabbar was the aggressor in an incident last November when he and Lucian such and such started fighting in Middlesbrough, but said her focus was on reducing the risk to others in the future. So this guy's found guilty. She's admitting as a judge, handing down the sentence, that he was the aggressor. And quote, she said, in my judgment, the better way of reducing risk to others is to suspend the sentence and impose conditions targeted at reducing the risk you pose in the future and cause you to do some purposeful activity, which I hope will improve matters. You will not be subject to automatic deportation, although this status in the country remains a matter for others to consider. You will not go to prison today. So he's obviously got some immigration issue, right? And the other thing, which is a bit potty with this case, is there's been suggestions that he helped pass information to the British Army while he was in Iraq. Now, if that is the case, and somebody in the establishment wants to look after this guy because he's done some good in the past for our country, that's not my thing. But there's a judge. If that's the case, the judge that's been placed to do that on behalf of the establishment is now the prosecutor in one of the most bizarre cases in the British recent judiciary. And I find that pretty bonkers. So, where do we go? My concern is, and this isn't talking about the case as such, as in things that could sway a decision by any potential jurors, right? But this case could have so much potential information come out about our current Prime Minister that it could be very scary and very damning, depending on what the information is. But the information is more likely to come from the prosecutor. And we've now got a prosecutor who's also a judge, who gives us some really strange handed down sentences in some cases that may or may not involve decisions made higher up the establishment because of the person who committed the crime, and basically giving them lighter sentencing due to things they may or may not have done to help the British establishment in the past. And this person's left to prosecute four men now, who have allegedly firebombed 3 things connected to our Prime Minister. Is it just me? Is it just me that finds this pretty weird, right? So, if you enjoyed this video and you want others to raise their eyebrows and get, considering what's going on here, hit the share, hit the like, put some comments below, and that'll move it into more people's timelines. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell. But most important of all, unless you're the type of person that ends up with 2 jobs that shouldn't be getting done, who gives out sentences that are so light that they're just bigger belief, then know you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.